Oh yeah, look.
Yeah, so all the federal agencies, it looks like they have all their offices in this one.
Is this where you work? Yes.
No, this ain't where it was, no.
I'm standing inside the Harry Hayes building. That's the federal building in Calgary. I'm in the fairly secure office of the Canada Border Services Agency. That's basically the border police. These are the people who arrested Tommy last night and held him until we were able to get him released on conditions just after midnight. Tommy was required to present himself this morning before 11 a.m. to surrender his passport and to have a discussion. He has surrendered the passport and is now being fingerprinted. I was allowed in the room as an observer. I'm not a practicing lawyer, but I was a lawyer in the past, so I'm aware of certain legal issues. I asked if I could get a proper lawyer on the phone, and they said yes. I made a phone call, and we think that we can get a really top immigration lawyer to join the conversation. Alan Hepner is a top criminal lawyer. We think we can get a top immigration lawyer, just so we have the best advice possible from people who do this every day. While we're waiting for that second lawyer to come through, they're fingerprinting Tommy. They say they're going to come back for me in about 5 or 10 minutes, and we'll have the discussion, really. It almost feels like a kind of negotiation. Does Tommy just want to go home? Does he want to finish his tour in Canada? Will that be permitted? Let me tell you the most important takeaway before they're going to come and grab me any minute to go back in, and I definitely want to be in there. They took note of the massive global media footprint. They raised that, not me or Tommy. So they are extremely aware that all eyes are on Calgary. And it is clearly animating them. I have to say, they have been exquisitely friendly with me. Maybe they're just friendly people by nature, but I think they know the eyes of the world are on this. And so they want to be on their best behavior. And by the way, Tommy's on his best behavior. And if there's a path forward, I hope we can find it. To me, that would include allowing Tommy to go on with the show. He has a speech planned for Edmonton tonight. I don't know if it's possible to save that. He has a speech planned for Toronto in less than a week. He has other appointments, including a podcast with Jordan and Tammy Peterson. Oh, looks like I got to go back in. Thanks.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So the option's been given that obviously I'm not allowed to leave Calgary, but they asked what my plans would be and when I'd leave. I said I want to go to Toronto. I've had an event planned about freedom of speech. I want to go to Toronto. And Ezra then offered to put up a bond for that, to say, because I have to sign in here on a Tuesday, a Wednesday and a Friday. So I could go to Toronto on a Saturday, be there Sunday, come back on Monday, and I can still meet their conditions. So Ezra put forward and said he'd offer a bond. They sounded susceptible to it.
You know, if I'm putting myself in the shoes of that frontline immigration cop, he looks at Tommy and says, that guy's a handful. And I get it. Tommy used to work for Rebel News. He is a handful. But I said to him, give that job to me. If you're worried about Tommy complying, put it on me. I'll guarantee that he shows up where he's supposed to. I'll guarantee that he gets on the plane I'll drive him to the airport. And I even offered to put up a bond, which is basically signing a check to the government that they hold as ransom for your good behavior. And I think that they were sort of pleasantly surprised by that idea. And we got on the speakerphone a very senior immigration lawyer, Kevin Zemp, who sort of walked us through it. And he reminded the border police about free speech. Because Tommy is here to talk about free speech, which in itself is an act of free speech. And it is so crystal clear to me that this arbitrary rule that Tommy can't go north of Red Deer or south or east.
It doesn't make sense. It's what the lawyer said. It doesn't make sense. How can that make sense? It just doesn't make sense.
There is only one reason for that weird geographical rule, and it's to stop Tommy giving the speech. So the lawyer chimed in then, a very polite lawyer, but very sound, and he said, Tommy has his free speech rights too. Yeah. So we've got a half-hour lunch break, and they're gonna take it up the food chain. But that's what scares me, Tommy.
The media was worrying them though as well. The first comment he made is, "Look, we see how big this has gone."
I'm so glad we didn't mention it. We didn't bring it up. It was the first thing on his mind. I think that when yesterday in the truck, the cops said to you that the director of the CBSA ordered your arrest. Is that what I heard correct?
Yeah.
So this is the big boss man. This is Trudeau's hand-picked boss of the border police, who from Ottawa would have ordered your arrest. And the way you described it, the cops who picked you up didn't really...
They, when we got down here, they couldn't have been nicer. They went and got me Tim Hortons.
So I think you've got the frontline border police who realize you're not a threat. There are actual illegal migrants to Canada every day. There are real border crises. You're not it. They want to let you go, and frankly, they'll be happy when you're gone, but they don't want to put you in jail. They don't want to do these things. But the bosses in Ottawa
They're pulling their strings and making them.
And so let's see what I make a good faith offer. Put me in charge of Tommy. Make me responsible for him following the rules, and I'll pay a bond to guarantee it.
Time will tell. Time will tell.
Yeah. All right.
Tell me.